Time is running out, Commanders fans. Did you know a 7th round rookie RB is putting veterans' jobs at risk? His spikes already smell like Pro Bowl. But attention. While some cry over a WR who turned their back on us, Adam Peters is hiding. An ace up his sleeve no one expects. Which talent from the Shadow Squad is ready to level up our offense? We'll give you the name before Schefter. And don't forget about the new Titan here to break records. His TD in week 1 was just the first taste. Do you know how many more are coming? This is no theory. 95% of fans are not ready for what Cliff Kingsbury has in his playbook. Can you believe what we just witnessed? I've been following the Commanders for over 2 decades, and I can count on one hand the times a 7th round rookie has made such an impact in his first official game. Jackery Krosky Merritt not only debuted in the NFL, he literally announced his arrival with fireworks. 82 rushing yards on just 10 carries. A touchdown that brought the entire Northwest Stadium to its feet. And here's the craziest part. This guy was listed as the 4th running back on the depth chart before the game. Can you grasp what that means? Chris Rodriguez Jr., a player many expected to see active, ended up being the odd man out because the coaching staff already knew what they had on their hands. Here's something you probably didn't know. The NCAA made a decision that seemed devastating for Krosky Merritt at the time, keeping him off the college radar for reasons many considered overly harsh. But now I tell you that this unjust decision turned into the greatest gift Washington could receive. While other teams focused on the obvious names, Adam Peters was quietly doing his homework. Do you know what impressed me most about his performance? It wasn't just the numbers, although 8.2 yards per carry in your NFL debut is something very few can boast. What blew my mind was his vision. That massive run from our own goal line wasn't luck. It was pure instinct and perfect reading of the Giants' defense. Cliff Kingsbury handled the situation like a master. He let Austin Eckler open the game, let the Giants get used to his style, and then unleashed Krosky Merritt like a guided missile. The stadium literally exploded when this rookie broke that run, and I saw several New York defenders end up on the ground after trying to tackle him. Pro Football Focus doesn't lie, and when they rate a player as the best performing running back of week 1, that means something. But I'm telling you, the cold numbers don't tell the whole story. What I saw on the field was a young man who plays with that special mentality, that hunger only players who have had to fight for every opportunity possess. Now I ask you something. All the analysts are talking about, was it a coincidence that Brian Robinson Jr. was traded to the 49ers right before the season started? Because I think Peters knew exactly what he was doing. That trade wasn't just about freeing up space on the roster. It was a statement of confidence in what Krosky Merritt could bring. Austin Eckler is our reliable veteran, the guy who knows the system and can handle the workload when needed. But this rookie has something different. He has that explosiveness and freshness that can change the dynamic of any game. And here comes something that will surprise many. Washington plans to bring him along gradually, but if he maintains this level of play, we're going to see him as a starter before November ends. Do you know what excites me most about this situation? That Krosky Merritt isn't taking anything for granted. After the game, when reporters asked him about his performance, his response was pure humility and hard work. This kid understands that a good game doesn't make a career, but he also has that quiet confidence that separates good players from the special ones. The Giants' defense isn't exactly the weakest in the league, and his rookie made him look like a high school team. That combination of power, speed, and vision is exactly what we needed to complement Eckler. Now opposing teams are going to have to prepare for 2 completely different styles of running backs. And that's going to complicate their defensive plans a lot. I believe we are witnessing the birth of something special. Washington has a history of finding diamonds in the rough in late rounds, but this case is different. Krosky Merritt isn't just a good compliment. He's a player who can change games on his own. And if that week 1 performance is indicative of what's to come, then Peters just pulled off the draft steal of the century in 2024. Here comes one of those news stories that hurts but also teaches us a lot about how things work in the NFL. Kendrick Bourne visited our facilities, worked with our coaches, probably sat down with Adam Peters to discuss numbers, and ultimately told us thanks, but no thanks to sign with the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to be completely honest with you. This hurt more than I expected, but not for the reasons you might think. It's not that Bourne was going to revolutionize our offense or be the missing piece of the puzzle. It's because this situation shows us a harsh reality about the perception free agents have about Washington. The Patriots released him after failing to find a trade partner willing to exchange for him. That means Bourne was available to any team, and we were one of the first to show genuine interest. Peters did his homework, identified a potential need in our receiving group, and was aggressive in trying to address it. But do you know what weighed more in Bourne's decision? History. The 49ers bet on him when no one else wanted him as an undrafted free agent. Kyle Shanahan gave him the chance to develop, and San Francisco became his professional home. That emotional connection is something we're still building as an organization under the new management. Now, let's talk numbers, because here's where it gets interesting. According to Adam Schefter, Bourne signed a one-year deal that can reach up to $5 million with incentives. That's serious money for a receiver who, let's be honest, would have been the fourth or fifth option on our depth chart. Washington probably wasn't willing to go that high, and I tell you, that was probably the right decision. Why? Because we have Terry McLaurin as our undisputed WR1. Deebo Samuel came in to be our WR2 and multi-purpose weapon. Noah Brown has proven to be a reliable and versatile receiver. Jalen Lane is developing, but has shown promising flashes. And Luke McCaffrey, although still a rookie, has the pedigree and skills to contribute immediately. Bourne would have been a nice addition, but not indispensable. And here comes something that Peters probably calculated from the start. Is it worth paying $5 million for a receiver who will catch 40 to 50 passes all season? Because that would have been his reality in Washington. The 49ers, on the other hand, are desperate at the position. Ricky Pearsall was their most reliable option in week 1, and that should tell you everything you need to know about their situation. Jawan Jennings is dealing with injuries. Brandon Ayuk is still working to return from long-term issues, and their depth chart is practically empty after those names. For Bourne, the decision made sense from multiple angles. Guaranteed money, immediate opportunity for significant playing time, and the comfort of returning to a system he knows perfectly. Kyle Shanahan knows exactly how to use him, and Bourne won't have to learn new concepts or develop chemistry from scratch. But here's something that has me optimistic about the situation. Peters didn't put all his eggs in the Bourne basket. He knew San Francisco might be the preferred option, and probably had contingency plans from the start. That's the mark of a general manager who thinks 3 steps ahead. I believe after seeing how we played against the Giants, Peters is satisfied with what we have. Terry McLaurin remains one of the best receivers in the league. Deebo Samuel has already shown he can be lethal in our system, and the young guys are hungry to prove what they can do. Would it have been nice to have Bourne? Absolutely. Is it the end of the world he chose San Francisco? Not at all. Sometimes the best decisions are the ones you don't make, especially when they involve committing significant financial resources for marginal production. Peters will continue exploring the market. More opportunities will arise as the season progresses. And if we really need reinforcements at the position, I have confidence our general manager will find the right solution at the right price. Now we get to the news that has the entire league talking. And it's that Deebo Samuel has already shown why Adam Peters moved heaven and earth to bring him to Washington. His debut with the Commanders was not just successful, it was a statement of intent that sent a clear message to the entire NFC East. We have a weapon you cannot stop. 7 receptions, 77 yards, and a touchdown that will be in the highlights for a long time. But I tell you, those numbers only tell half the story. What really changed the game was how Samuel completely transformed the dynamic of our offense from the first snap. Dan Quinn couldn't contain his excitement when he talked to reporters after the game. And when a coach with Quinn's experience says that Samuel's touchdown was typical of him and exactly what we expected when we made the trade, that means everything went according to plan from day one. That reverse sweep play that ended in the end zone was pure poetry in motion. Jaden Daniels handed him the ball. Samuel read the defense perfectly, found the gap he needed, and accelerated to the end zone with that unique combination of power and speed that makes him so special. The Giants knew it was coming, had filming of that play from San Francisco, but they couldn't do anything to stop it. But do you know what impresses me most about Samuel's performance? It wasn't just his individual production, it was how he elevated the play of all his teammates. Terry McLaurin, already one of the best receivers in the league, is now getting single coverage because defenses have to devote extra resources to neutralizing Samuel. Austin Ekeler also benefited greatly, with Samuel attracting attention both as a receiver and in designed plays. Ekeler found more room to operate both in the running game and in pass routes from the backfield. That's the mark of a true multi-purpose weapon. Not only does he produce himself, but he makes everyone else better. Cliff Kingsbury finally has the tools he needed to fully implement his offensive vision. Samuel isn't just a receiver, he's an additional running back, a wildcat quarterback when the situation demands, and an intimidation factor that forces defenses to completely alter their game plans. Quinn also spoke about how Samuel adapted to the team culture, and that's just as important as any statistic. I didn't know him personally, but it was incredible getting to know him and coach him, discovering what he can do, said the head coach. That instant chemistry between player and coach is something that can't be forced. And when it happens naturally, magical things can occur. I believe we've only seen a small fraction of what Samuel can bring to this offense. In San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan used Samuel in formations that confused defenses, creating impossible to cover mismatches. Kingsbury has that same creativity, and now he has a player who can execute any concept he dreams up. The connection with Jaden Daniels already looks promising, and that's with barely having time to develop real chemistry. Daniel is a mobile quarterback with a strong arm, and Samuel is a receiver who can create separation from any formation. That combination is going to be a nightmare for defensive coordinators all season long. But do you know what excites me most about having Samuel on the roster? That we now have a player who can change the momentum of any game with a single play. That touchdown run against the Giants not only put points on the board, but it energized the entire team and stadium in a way I hadn't seen in years. Samuel's numbers with the 49ers speak for themselves. Multiple 1,000-yard seasons, touchdowns, both receiving and rushing, and the versatility to play multiple positions depending on the team's needs. But what truly makes him special is his competitive mindset and his ability to make tough plays when they're needed most. Washington paid a significant price to acquire Samuel, but after just 1 week, it's clear it was a smart investment. Peters identified a need, found a perfect player to fill it, and executed the trade brilliantly. Now the rest of the league will have to adjust their plans to deal with what Samuel can do in this offensive system. I tell you, if this week 1 performance is indicative of what's coming, then the Commanders' offense just took a quantum leap. That's going to surprise a lot of teams. Samuel isn't just an addition to the roster, he's the final piece of the puzzle Peters has been building since he arrived in Washington. After analyzing these 3 situations in detail, I believe we're seeing the result of a clear and well-executed philosophy by Adam Peters and Dan Quinn. It's no accident we have an explosive rookie, that we lost a veteran without compromising our financial future, and that we have an immediate star in Deebo Samuel. Peters is building something special, and these 3 news items are perfect examples of his approach. Identifying value where others don't see it. Krosky merit, not. Overpaying for marginal production, Bourne. And investing significant resources in players who can change the team's culture on competitive level. Samuel. What we saw in week 1 against the Giants was just a trailer of the movie that's coming. With Krosky Merritt emerging as a legitimate threat in the backfield, Samuel transforming our offense, and a group of receivers that, while it lost Bourne, has enough talent and depth to compete, I believe Washington is poised to surprise many teams this season. What do you think about the immediate impact of these 3 situations? Do you think Krosky Merritt can maintain this level of play all season? Was it smart not to overpay for Bourne? And what expectations do you have for Deebo Samuel as teams get more film on our offensive system? If you want to keep getting in depth and passionate analysis like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Here you'll find a perspective you won't get anywhere else, because we live and breathe Burgundy and Gold every day of the year. Hail to the Commanders!